It's so easy to get caught up in what you're learning. Maybe you have a lot of information to learn before the next day. And so you just push through the tiredness, push through the frustration. Or maybe you're using memory techniques. You have all your images and stories and you keep forgetting them, but you think, okay, let me just recreate them, let me review, and everything's going to fall into place. But that's not the case. A lot of people don't know when to stop. And this is the biggest problem when it comes to learning information for a long period of time. So let's take memory events. Now, I practice so many different events, and there are a lot of times where I'm practicing memory names, and I'm going through the names, and I do a trial, mess up. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, let me try again. So I go again, and I do worse, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me shake it off, go again. And so I'm only going down, but I think I'm in a rough patch, you know. These trials, I just messed up some things here and there. But the thing is, I'm at a point where anything after is just a waste. And I keep going thinking my scores are going to improve, but I'm just getting more frustrated and frustrated, which in fact screws me up more and more and more when it comes to memory competition, you know? But also, it applies to anything out there that you're learning. If you're learning vocabulary, you're like, man, I have so much to learn for this one chapter, and we're gonna have a test on it tomorrow. And you're going through, and you keep trying to, use your images, and you're like, oh, I keep forgetting stuff. And you think, okay, I'm just gonna keep pushing through until I get everything. You need to stop when you feel that frustration because it's really hard to fight back and become unfrustrated when you're trying to learn the thing that made you frustrated, you know? And so it's not easy to fix. You have to just stop, do something else, and come back to it later. Now, it might be an hour, it might be the next day. Every person is different, but you need to figure out your stopping point. That's the biggest thing because everyone has one where you can only take so much, when you're learning something because it's all mental, right? You can't do any push-ups, any pull-ups. You can't run in order to learn all this stuff, right? It's all a mental process. And so if you don't know where that limit is for you, once you pass it, everything just completely sucks and you're not really gaining anything. All you're doing is wasting time, you get more frustrated, and that can undo everything that you did before but just because your mind is so shot. And so really take time to figure out where it is, where that frustration limit is, where you need to stop before you start just wasting time and energy trying to learn something you're not going to remember. And that's the thing people just don't realize. I know I've been there where you're trying to cram the night before a test or something because you're lazy. I've been there, you're lazy and you're like, I can just wait. And then of course the night before, like, oh crap, you try to study, but you become so frustrated, like you start getting headaches, or at least I do. I'm like, oh man, I keep trying to read, but it's not even like registering. It's just like going completely over my head. And that's when I should have stopped, but I keep going. But maybe if I stopped, waited an hour, and went back to it, I would have been refreshed, my mind would have reset, and then I would have been able to recall and learn all that information. So that's why it's so vital not to make this mistake. It's really easy to make because you think, I have to go through all of these vocabulary words before I can stop. You have to know your limits when it comes to your mind on what you're able to do, how frustration affects you. All these things are a personal, matter. I can't tell you, hey, it takes an hour before you could cool back down to get back to your learning. No, I can't say that for you. It all comes down to the individual. So hopefully you take the advice I'm giving you in this video because especially these, you don't know how frustrated I get depending on what I'm training for. If a competition is coming up and I keep messing up, how mad I get, but I keep going and it just does not even work. So hopefully you could take the advice that I learned from specifically memory training for competitions and apply it to your own studies so you don't reach that point where you're just wasting a whole bunch of time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.